it started getting to the point where my mother would drop me off with other relatives. I had an aunt and an uncle who were abusive as fuck. Everybody in the family knew that they were abusive because this is how I know. When I got older, I talked to some of my cousins and shared, like, I'm 18, 19, 20 at this point, and shared some of my experiences when I was dropped off at their houses. And they were like, oh, you got it easy because this happened to me or this happened to me. I'm like, yo, so the whole family knew that these two people were abusive as fuck, and what? What? No one was gonna say anything. Y'all just gonna continue dropping people's kids off over here. And when I say abusive, I mean literally abusive, like abuse, physical abuse. So, just now I'm freestyling here, but off the top of my head, some of the things I remember is my uncle would take me out into his backyard and want to throw the football, and the nigga could not throw a football. Like, he couldn't hit the side of a barn with a football if he was standing a foot away from the barn. So he had this thing where he was like, "Yo, we're not going inside until you can catch a pass in stride." Well, nigga, throw the ball so I can catch a pass in stride. Nah. So I didn't catch a pass that entire day. We were out there for probably 7 hours, right? And he had this mean ass German Shepherd. It was a trained attack dog, right? It was a white German Shepherd too, beautiful dog, but it was a mean ass trained attack dog. So after being out there for like 6, 7 hours, he looks at me and says, "If you don't catch the next pass, I'm gonna sick the dog on you." I believed him because I was abused by them for, months and months, if not years before then. So I'm like tears are coming out my eyes at this point. I'm like, I gotta catch this fucking football no matter what. So takes off running. He throws the ball, and of course, like I said, the nigga cannot throw a fucking football. And I'm like, I turned on the speed burst and everything. I died for it, and I mean, like, yo, it was a bad pass. Couldn't catch it. So as I'm laying on the ground, I died for it. I'm laying on the ground. All I heard was lightning, sick 'em. And all like, and here comes the German Shepherd. So I basically rolled over, covered up my face like this, and the dog just started fucking mauling me in my aunt and uncle's backyard. Motherfucker dragging me by my ankle, like up and down the backyard. I'm crying like a bitch at this point, like, make him stop, make him stop. All because I couldn't catch a football. Even if you were like, I don't know, Drew Brees or some shit, and you could throw pinpoint passes. That's inexcusable to do that shit to a fucking child, man. So, you know, that unfortunately, that was not the first and that was not the last time I was abused by this aunt and uncle. There was a saying, okay, so my aunt couldn't cook worth shit. Mind you, these were church going people too. This was a pastor and a pastor's wife. Let me throw that out there too. This is why I take so much issue with church right now. And so this was a pastor and a pastor's wife. And what's funny too is a lot of my family members, I don't talk to them often, but ever since I started podcasting, they stopped answering the phone when I do call. But you know what? I don't care because this is my story and I'm entitled to tell it. Pastor's wife. So she couldn't cook worth shit. We would be sitting at the dinner table and they would make stuff like liver. And it's liver already tastes bad enough. And you can't cook on top of that. So I'd be sitting there and I'm like, I don't want none. I'm okay. I don't want none. You better eat your food. I don't want none. And then here we go with the whole, there's poor people in other countries. Well, here, send them this shit because I don't want this shit. So here comes the belt. They are literally like, I'm standing up at the table at this point and stand up. They are tearing my ass up with a belt while I have a fork and knife in my hand. Like, you're going to clean that plate basically. So now I'm getting my ass whooped with a belt. I'm cutting little pieces of liver. I'm gagging as I'm trying to eat this shit. And I'll never forget this. If you throw up, we're going to make you eat the vomit basically. And again, I believed them when they said that. Now, come to find out, it's a good thing I did believe them when they said that, because in talking to some of my other cousins as I got older, like I said, 18, 19, 20, early 20s, a few of my cousins did have to eat their fucking vomit. And I just find that disgusting. And, of course, I would tell my mother, no one believes that. I got like welts on my ass from getting my ass beat. And I'm like, yeah, they beat my ass because I wouldn't eat the nasty food. And if I threw up, I had to eat the throw up. And they're like, they will feed my mother some bullshit like, no, we did spank his ass for X, Y, and Z because he was being bad. No. So I would start crying every time my mother would try to take me over to their house to drop me off, and they would beg for my mother to bring me over there so they could dress me up in some little suit and parade me around their fucking church. Like, eh, it was disgusting. So I would be crying, like literally boo-hooing from the time we stepped out of our apartment door to in the car. Well, it wasn't a car; it was a bus at that time, and I'd be crying on the bus. I'd be crying all the way to their front door. I'd be crying once I got like, So I could talk about those fucking assholes like all night. But anyway,